Welcome back to our St. Louis Blues rebuild in Franchise Hockey Manager 11. So we're roughly around halfway through the season and we find ourselves in second place in the Central Division with 56 points in 38 games. 26-8-4 is pretty good. It's just Nashville Predators are just a little bit better than we are. If you look in terms of the league though, we would be in second place in the whole league. So the fact that we're actually doing this well is pretty good. I mean, 142 goals for, 102 against. I do like that. Our home record is 16-0-1. We have yet to lose in regulation at home, which does make me a little bit nervous. Our shootouts are 1-2, and our away record is 10-8-3. We're on a 3-game win streak, but I did see something come across our emails here. Obviously, Sven Kuhl, or Kel, I don't even know how to say it, but he is apparently the cleanest player in terms of the poll. But I did see another thing that came up that was kind of cool as well. It's the mid-season National Hockey League contenders. I typically don't pay attention to this, so I'm pretty sure it did come up in the past, but I don't think we had any players that were relatively considered into this. And right now we do, though. Trey Augustin, I mean, he's developing very well. He is currently top player in terms of the Vezina, so I do like seeing that. Norris, the long shot, is Dupont. He has around 25 points in 38 games, but obviously if he can manage to do a little bit better than that, I'm sure he will be considered a little bit higher, but still, top 4 or top 5 is not a bad start. Executive of the Year, we're not even really considered into that, which I find that a bit of a slap in the face. And then Forster, the player that we just got rid of, is nominated for the Selke, and then also Benson as well, who's getting 26 points, and Forster's with 35. So we did get decent value for him, but obviously that's pretty good. We did have to obviously go a different way with it because we needed it for contracts, but I do like the decisions that we made. Lady Bing, Olsen is one of the top players there. Olsen with 27 points is pretty good. And then even the Mark Messier Leadership Award, I find odd since he's not really a captain. And then at least we're getting nominated for the Jack Adams, so I will take that. At least we got one of the nominations there. I did see something else as well. Blues tops in months. Spanberg and Augustin doing very well for us. Augustin currently 23-4-4. with a .921 save percentage. We haven't seen that since his rookie year. And then Spanberg with 33 points in 38 games. I think it's safe to say that he is probably the best player that we decided to take a chance on. Third round for this guy. We got him in the Bluger trade, and it's safe to say this is probably our best pick throughout the whole series. I think he's going to develop even better than 4-star. He is currently 3.5 and only 21. 6'2", and he grades around a 70 so far this season. He did around a 64, but it's just one of those things where your eyes don't lie, and his stats were just off the charts. Mental's a little bit lower, but even his physicals, his defensive and his offensive are pretty good. So definitely a guy that I'm going to grab every single chance that I get, in every single FHM in the future. I'm definitely going to end up grabbing him as early as I possibly can. So the fact that he's doing so well is definitely a plus for us. So some of the players improving. Ivanov, Oscar Johansson had a 1.5 star finally, starting to improve. I think he was only 0.5 star before. Reese Burris also developing as well, 1.5 stars there. We do have Eric Andreasen, who I can't really say his name properly. He did play a little bit for us, but he only had 2 points in 14 games, and that is obviously not good enough, so he's not going to play the rest of the season for us probably. And then Osgood with only 9 points in the AHL. That's a little bit lower than what I was expecting, but what kind of a player is he? He's a counterattacking forward, so I would expect a little bit more. 14 minutes and only a 62 grade, so maybe next year is better for him to develop for us. So maybe when we end up losing some of our players there, he might have to come up. Penkin, still in the AHL, around 19 points there. Christopher O, only 2.5 stars, so we might want to look to get another lefty. Stenberg there with 3.5, he improved his hitting, and not much else other than that. But As you can see, we will look at some of the players' stats so far. 39 points for Stutzel. That is fantastic. Definitely leading the way there. He was over a point per game before. And Spangberg with 33 points in 38 games. That is insane. 33 for Bolduc, and then Dvorsky with 31. Misa carrying the torch still with 28. He's still doing pretty good. Olsen with around 27. On pace to get 57. And Martoni kind of slowed down a little bit. Still projected to get around 56, which would be pretty good for him. Projected to get 53 is Dupont. Hopefully he can get around a 5-star this year. That would be fantastic. And improve his defensive just a little bit. He is still pretty good, though. He is a two-way defenseman. Obviously more of an offensive defenseman, I would say. But still pretty good if he can manage to improve his defensive rating. That will definitely help us for the future. And obviously we have other right Ds coming up through the system as well. But let's take a closer look at goalies. 921 and 893. That's not terrible for a backup. He's 3-4-0. 1 shutout and then 5 for Augustin. But Augustin is definitely the guy that we're leaning on. 23-4-4 is amazing. 246 goals against is pretty good too. Is that roughly around what he's been doing? No, it's considerably better. So obviously our defense is probably improving as well, but needless to say he's also improving as well. So I like what I see from there, and now we got everything at the max there and starting to make some money. He's second place in terms of goals against and top 4 for save percentage, and this is the first time that I feel as though we have a really good chance of getting the Vezina. He's lights out in terms of almost every stat so far. All he has to do is maintain this, and I'm going to give him as many opportunities as he can. Obviously, as long as he doesn't shit the bed, you would say. But as long as he doesn't end up screwing us over, I'm definitely happy with that. Montreal Canadiens doing well as well. I do like seeing that. I do like seeing former teams that we managed. Same thing with Sharks as well. That was probably one of our series that ended up actually starting to hit off the quickest. I think Montreal Canadiens also was a massive success, and even Penguins was too. We kind of bounced around in terms of every division. I think this is the second time that we've been in the Central, though. No, actually, I think it's the first time. It's the first time, other than Blackhawks, that we did it the very first year. So I think if we end up managing any team, it might have to be in the Pacific this year, or the Atlantic. But I think I'm going to do a couple other series as well, just for the teams that are a little bit better in real life, that you don't really have to do too much, and kind of do like a 3-year challenge that will probably just be 1 episode. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So we won't really do anything other than the all-in series. We might do one more NHL one, but I think it's going to be a little bit later when we end up actually doing that. So we face off against Toronto, and we win 6-0. So Augustin getting another shutout is killer. Villeneuve and Kuhl and Stenberg score in the first. Villeneuve and then Stutzel score in the second, and then Bolduc scores his 12th goal of the season in the third period. Does push us up to the top, though, so if we can maintain this pace, we do have a chance at finishing higher than Nashville, but the top 3 teams in the Central are currently Blues, Predators, and Blackhawks, and it's not even close. I mean, obviously one of these teams can drop off, but the fact that these are the top 3 teams, it does look like we do have probably the best chance, I would say, at winning. We do face off against Pittsburgh here. Nice to see that no one's hurt either. I did have to double check that before I did that. No changes with the AI there. And we do face off against Pittsburgh. We do lose 2-1 at home, and it's our first regulation loss. Misa with a lone goal, but couldn't quite get it done, though. We do concede in the first and then in the third, but ultimately not. I don't know why you're blaming the only goal scorer as to why we didn't do great, but we do face off against Nashville here, and this is going to be one of the most important ones, probably of the season for sure. Any wins against Nashville or even against Blackhawks are going to be paying massive dividends for home ice advantage. But they have played one more game than us, but they have around 2 more wins than we do. And we do face off against Nashville, at least at home, and then we turn our sights to Florida. I will look at the trade block as well to kind of gauge as to what we're going to have to do here. 2-1 win there, so that's what I like to see in regulation too, so they don't get any points there. DuPont with his 11th, and then Spangberg with his 18th. I keep saying Spanberg, but I know it's Spangberg. I'm going to have to say that far more times, but Augustin now jumps up to the top in terms of wins, and the only player that he's really having to worry about is Saros, which allegedly they've been looking at moving on from, so that is going to be pretty interesting to see how that ends out. And then Villeneuve is now slightly injured, I guess. Yeah, so he's going to probably end up sitting, I'm sure. Yeah, they make him sit for this one, but he's probably out for at least a week or two. And yeah, we'll look at the trade block as of now. And I mean, Dickinson, we do need a lefty. That is pretty interesting. San Jose, so we can make that trade. McTavish also looking to find another team. Slavkovsky at 27. He is still pretty young. That is crazy. We could get Brandon Clark, but I don't think we really need him. Eklund, I could see ourselves getting, but the fact that he's not even at potential at 25 is pretty crazy. McQueen also, someone that I would consider, but I mean, just for curiosity, we're gonna kind of see what it would take. He makes around 5.4. We'll just make them eat half, and we'll give up our first. He's only 1 year too. And we can do it. Like, they're gonna budge for sure. I don't really want to give up a player though. I'll give up Baranov. They will never accept this offer. I mean, I don't think we need to worry about finances either for this trade. Give up another pick because we don't really need it. Give up Flames, third rounder. I mean, this is just to kind of see, but the fact that we could maybe pull this off is pretty good. It hasn't changed since I offered picks. That's crazy. Obviously, Watson we're not going to do. I don't even know who Ojanen is. We do have a decent amount of 3.5-star players, though. Borchovsky, I'll give up a goalie. And they won't even budge there. I can't give up any of those players. They're just too good. Let's see. Further, we'll give up a second here. They're not even going to entertain that. We're just going to offer it anyways. Obviously, I'm not really expecting them to partake on that one, but the fact that they're not willing to trade is crazy. We lose 4-3 in overtime, though. Stutzel with the first goal. Bulldog scores in the second, but obviously you can see we're losing it on that. And then Plaxon gets the tying goal there, and then we eventually lose in shootouts. So we're not that great in shootouts. As you can see, we definitely need someone that's a bit better of a shooter, but does make us drop down to second place. We do have that extra game at hand, though, so we can obviously turn things around against LA, who are currently around a 500 team. So there is a chance, but we do have to rely on our backup to get things done. And I mean, Reinhold can do it. I do have faith, and we do. We win 4-0. He gets a shutout on top of it. Stenberg gets his 10th and 11th, and then Stutzel with his 22nd and 23rd goal there. So what I'd like to see for sure, but 29-9-5, if you told me this is where we're going to be at the beginning of the season, I wouldn't quite believe you, but Stutzel is great. But it does look like we've been desperately needing that star player for a long time now, and the fact that we finally got it is pretty good. Obviously, I would love to have done it earlier, and I think that's kind of why this feels as though more of a failure of a series than anything, but obviously we want to win, and we're going to go kind of all out if we can. We do win 3-1 against Canucks, but they're not necessarily the greatest team. Misa with his 10th, Martoni with his 8th, and then Stutzel with his 24th. We do concede in the third, but ultimately the game is already far out of the reach. And yeah, reaction. I mean, it's not a bad trade. Sam Dickinson, he's 25, contract. I wonder what his contract would be. I might give up more. We do need a lefty, though. What kind of a defender is he? 2A defenseman, shutdown. He is more of an offensive one, but he can improve, though. That's the thing. What pick was he? If he was a first-round pick, I might have to do it. He was... Where is it? He was a 11th overall. So maybe we'll reevaluate. I think we can do this. I think we can get it done. Maybe get rid of the third. I'm gonna give up. I might give up a first later on. 2034. It's very likely they'll accept. So I want something back then. I want something back that year. Maybe for their second. I think they'll probably accept it. So can I get 2 seconds? This is a well balanced. That just means that they're going to say no. I'll offer it anyways, and then we'll kind of change it up if we have to. But the fact that he's on trade block, I expect him to be a lot cheaper than what they're making it out to be. But obviously adding Dickinson this season will be a massive boost to our blue line for sure. And we just wait to travel to Colorado, and hopefully we can get the win here. And again, no way. Once more. Yeah, I'm going to have to just change maybe their second to like a third. Because we already know they're going to accept it. Do they have any good players in their rights, though? Schneider. No, I wouldn't say so. He was a 7th round pick. Crazy. He actually looks pretty good for a 7th round pick. Nothing really in that way. Do they have any players? I don't know why I wouldn't look at that first. Yeah, they have way too good of players that we can definitely not get. It feels that we traded Misic. Yeah. You know what? We'll go for picks. We'll get one back here. 3rd round. Yeah, well balanced means that they won't do it again, but we'll try it anyways. Let's kind of focus more on playing here. Colorado game. And we lose 4-2. That is quite unfortunate. Plaxton with the goal and then Misa with the goal, but ultimately we couldn't quite beat them. And Chris Ferreau now injured, so I think we 1 to 2 months. Okay, so can bring up someone, and Misa also forearm soreness. Brandon Watson would be a good pick now at this point, but he's also injured. So does look like Plamondon might have to come up. We'll kind of leave it as it is. And yeah, we have a couple injuries there, but nothing that we can't handle. Does put ourselves in 2nd place, but we still have a game at hand, and just hoping that Blackhawks don't end up putting on the hurt against us. But I do want to get the trades over with now. I think we might only add another one, maybe 1 or 2 trades. I think we're pretty good where we're at. We do get into double-digit losses though, and I never like the fact that it's not. We don't get the trade right off the bat. It usually means that they're not going to accept whatever we do. But a 4-2 win here. Spangberg with his 19th, and then Stutzel with his 25th. Meyer and Stutzel score again to solidify the 4-2 win. And I'm just hoping to hear back from San Jose. I don't know why they're wanting to trade when they can easily be in the playoffs, but I think it's also because it looks like it's going to be a down season for them. because 52 is not. It's going to be kind of hard to make the wild card anyways, and they're kind of battling against LA as well. So no way once again, but I think we can do it. I think we can just take away the third. Let's see if a fourth does it, or maybe a later second or third. No, that won't do it. So we'll add a fourth. Who knows if we actually want that? So we can get 1/4. Yeah, we'll get 1/4, and then maybe a fifth that year. Not that it will matter. No, so we'll leave it at fourth. And 2 first-round picks for him. I normally wouldn't do a trade like that, though. Except for I've done it several times in other games. But this is probably the first time that I've gone this wild with 2 first-round picks. We do win 5-0 there against Islanders. Islanders are a terrible team. Olsen with the goal, Zelezny, Martoni, and Kiersey gets his first. Olsen gets his 11th, and ultimately we run away with that game. And Stutzel is now hurt. Day to day. So 6 days he's hurt. And hopefully we are not playing for at least 6 days. But 32, 10, and 5, we do face off against Boston, who luckily aren't doing great. So he could have a little bit of rest there. We could decide to preemptively not play him. We do have Dallas right after. We do get the okay for this. We accept it. And I want to know what Dickinson's going to want next year. He is grading around a 72, so I mean, I'll do that. 6.1. And we got him at a discount this year. And I'd say we do have that in the budget. And Plumundon's going to have to go down. I don't think anyone picks him up on waivers. But we do get the win here. We're still 2 games down now. And Dickinson signs his contract, so a sign and trade for sure. And let's see if everyone's back here for it. Misa's apparently back, and Stutzel can probably play this game. So facing off against Boston, can we get the win here? We do. 3-2 despite all the half-hearted players. Zelezny gets a goal, and so does Misa, and then Stenberg as well. So what I like to see for sure, 71 points now. And we're cruising. We're cruising for sure. We face off against Dallas in a couple days, again at home as well, and we've been a fortress at home. It is definitely a sight to see for sure. I think we've been very good in other seasons, and even other series at home, but I think this is probably the most dominant that we've been. Stutzel, hopefully 100% now. And he's not. He probably has one more day here. We do face off against Dallas here. Can we get the win? We do win 3-2 in regulation. Not that it matters for them. Misa, Bolduc, and Spangberg get the goal. We do concede 2, though. We concede in the first, and then we concede in the third. So something to kind of monitor, that we kind of gain our composure. But Stutzel, top 8 in terms of goals, though. That is a huge sight. And Dvorsky with 39 assists. I've never seen him in the top either. But interesting enough, I do see Augustin at the top in terms of every aspect of goalie. If he does not get the Vezina and he keeps this up, that is insane robbery. Another game against Boston here. We do win 3-2 again. In regulation, Villeneuve scores his 7th, Dvorsky with his 6th, and then Dvorsky with his 7th again. So what I like to see, this is probably going to be New York Rangers. We did face Islanders not that long ago, so I imagine it's going to be Rangers. But Gustin gets his 31st win there. And yeah, Dvorsky kind of slowing down there in terms of assist. And Nylander now out for 4 months. He is 35 years old. And he's not doing good anyway, so it's probably actually good for them. But it does look like Stutzel is back for good. And I didn't really miss any time there. 87% availability there. And 1-0. Just the lone goal in shootouts, too. Surprisingly, that's the win. A goal by Stutzel and then Stenberg as well. That is, I'll take that. That's a shutout regardless. So 77 points in 51 games. We're gonna play a couple more. We do face off against Detroit. I'm gonna look at the trade deadline there, or trade block, and see if there's anyone that we want before we end up jumping to the end of the season. But looking at it here, players that might pique our interest: Slavkovsky still would. Again, more offensive than defensive. I'll have to look at our team though. McTavish is also a very intriguing pick. He's on his last, oh no, he's on 7 years. We are one of the teams that he would go to. Slavkovsky on 3 years, so, at 27 though. Let's see. Oh, he won't go to us anyways, so we don't have to worry about that. But other players, Dursey, we don't want. We don't want anyone that old. Eklund, the fact that he hasn't hit his potential is still crazy. Yeah, no one else. We could bring back Holloway, though. What did we get for him when we traded him away? We got a first-round pick for him. And that was Plaxton, who I still think is better than what they say. He's 3.5 potential, so improving his defensive is great. And let's see how Dickinson's played so far. Plaxton's sat a couple games. That is crazy. I'm going to give Reinhold the opportunity here against Detroit. I don't know if they're good or not, but we'll give him the chance regardless. We win 3-1, so faith restored there. Stenberg, Stutzel, and Misa get on the score sheet. He does grade around a 90. Pretty good. We did concede 25 shots there throughout that, but amongst 52 games, there's still 30 games left. But as things stand right now, it does look like we're bound to make the playoffs, and this could be the most wins that we've gotten so far. I think it's around 40 something, but hopefully we can manage to maybe add one more player to our team. Development report looking pretty good as well, and Jonah developing pretty good too, especially defensively. I do like that. It is a bit of a grinder now. Well, look at the points that we have so far in terms of players. So Stutzel still only around close to a point per game. He was doing better before. Dvorsky now turning it up as our second best player. Spangberg as our third, with tie with Baldock still. So they're going toe to toe here for top 3. And then Misa with 39, Olsen with 34. Martoni kind of dropped down to 33, but still projected to do around 51. And then Dupont with 33 there. Players that aren't quite doing it, but everyone's kind of grading well. I'd say Vernhoff is probably our worst defender currently, and Singh also doing better than him. So I'm gonna have to look at. He is 2.5 stars, but he is producing pretty decently. 42 games in back-to-back seasons. He's starting to be kind of an outlier there. Goalie stats though, 32, 6, and 5. And then a 925 save percentage, 913 for Reinhold. So he is improving. Now a winning record, 5-4-0. 2 shutouts, and 8 for Augustin. So we're going to take a quick look actually at how well he's doing. So Augustin shutout leader, 21. So he can actually get that within the next couple seasons. We'll look at player index. I'll take a look at goalies because I think that that's the more important part to figure out. Augustin with, he's actually number 9. That's crazy. Augustin with 143. He could hit top 3 for sure. He could even hit top 2 or even number 1 with this season, which is going to be crazy. He's played significantly less than these players. So the fact that he has a chance of getting it, that is insane. So we'll have to monitor that for sure, but that is a great stat for sure. Shutouts though, pretty close. Top 3. He can easily get top 2 this season, but definitely legend status if he can manage to continue this in his career though. But pretty insane, he's already pretty close to Binnington. And the sky's the limit for this kid, though. Hasn't played quite as many seasons, but definitely good opportunity for sure. So hopefully you guys like this series. Leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and thank you for watching. Until next time.